I have taped down the paper and I'll start with the drawing. I have a lake and a night sky, and then there is Aurora. Okay, that is the northern lights. So to start with the horizon line, let me take a scale and not to the exact half, but I'm going to do it somewhere here. So this becomes the horizon line, and here I will have the reflection of northern lights coming, and then I will have some mountain structures. So this is the first one, and again from here there will be a range of mountains starting basically. Okay, and then in the further end here I will have another peak coming up. Okay, so this looks good. Now for ending of all this, I'm going to put it with the ruler itself. Okay, these mountains are going to be completely dark, so I need not actually erase these lines, but so what I will do is I will just go ahead and reduce the intensity of these lines with the help of an edible eraser. Okay, so this is good enough to get started with the painting. So I will start it in 3 different parts. One is first the sky, then the reflection in the lake, and then finally the mountains and its details. Okay, so let me prepare my paints. I will share the list of all the colors that I have used directly later on. So let's get started. First I'm going to okay, so I'll start by applying water only to the sky region. It's completely okay if the water is coming to the mountains as well, as it will be the darkest shade. It doesn't matter. But if you miss a particular edge or the peak, then there will be a harsh edge once the paint dries off, and we don't want that. So just apply water completely. I'm using 100% cotton paper, and this is a sketchbook from Nikhat Illustrations. So it's in the size A4, and I have just taped down the paper, and I'll be applying multiple coats of water here. The same to and fro action. Okay, I'll also add water to my paints a little bit so that when I go back they will be ready. Okay, so now I'll take a round brush. This is from Rubloff, size 6. So now I'll start by first applying the lightest shades. That is, I'll take this coral and apply it here. So we can still see the peak of the sun or the sunset or whichever is happening. And then I'll take this color here as well and apply it a little bit more. Okay, merge them neatly, and then gradually take this entire mixture up tilt the paper a little bit so that they easily go up. Okay, and then I'm going to take mint shade and apply one layer here. Okay, now I'm going to start with the northern lights. So let me first take this cobalt turquoise and add it at some places. Okay, so the next shade would be leaf green, and that also I will add at some of the places. Okay, once this is done, just make sure to remember that I have applied all these in vertical angles itself. Now I'll start with the final pigment, which is indigo, and I'll start by applying it again in the same direction. When you are coming nearby these colors, be very careful so that they don't mix off again. Remove excess of water from your brush and dab it on a piece of tissue paper. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blender brush. This is from Sitaram's itself, and I'm going to simply do the swift movements like this. Okay, and dab off the excess paint that's coming through it. Here my paper is not kept in any elevated angle, and that's the reason I'm doing this so easily. But if it was in an elevated angle, you will have to work against the elevation and all. So I have not used any elevation here. Okay, so once this is done, the next step would be I'll take some more indigo and apply it onto places where I feel like there is more darker shade required or needed. And I'm doing all this when the paper is still wet. Okay, so if your paper is dry, I would not suggest to add another layer. Okay, and coming back to here, I'm going to take some more mint and adding it, mixing it with the indigo that we have. There is a tint of indigo here, so I will add it again with this brush only. I'm pretty sure by the end of it, this coral what I have added is completely will be not visible. That's fine. Make sure to remove excess of paints from your brush, else it will be coming back to your painting. Okay, so I'm happy with how this has turned out. Now I'll start with the lake part, and this has all the reflections. Okay, so let me apply water. Okay, and here also I'll first start with the darker shades. So the reflection part, I'm going to first do it again in the vertical direction itself. Okay, and going to take some cobalt turquoise as well and add it here. Take some mint also. Now I'll start adding mint for in the horizontal direction as well, and keep these strokes intact because they will look like the ripples of water once it dries, and it's good to have that once the painting dries. Okay, the same thing here. I'm doing all this with mint green. Okay, now this is done. Starting with the darkest shade, that is indigo. Now for this side, I'm just filling the white spaces first, and then I'll come back to the reflection to fill it up. So with this direct strokes, you can just I'll take some more indigo for this side. Okay, so this looks good for our, let me add some more green here. See, this blending, what I'm doing is always with a dry brush. There should be not a lot of water in it. But since I need these blue strokes back to look like the ripples of water, I'm using a round brush itself, and it's okay to bring the darker shades back to my painting. Okay. So I'm happy with how the lake also has turned out. So the final part is to add our mountains. But before that, let me add the stars, right? How can we forget the stars? So I'll prepare my white gouache first. I'm going to take a small size brush. This is a round brush, and take some white gouache in it. Okay, now I'll take support of another brush here and start the splattering. Okay, you can see how beautifully these are coming. I have explained a lot about splattering, the consistency of all this, and all the techniques that I have used here in my Skillshare class. I have added the links to my class so that you can check it out. Some of the splatters can also come to the lake because it's reflection, and of course we have stars, so that's also completely fine. Okay, I'll take some more pigment and add a brighter star somewhere here and there. Okay, probably a meteor as well. So for that I'm going to take a liner brush. So this is a liner brush. So now I'm going to take some white gouache in it and drag a tail. Okay, this looks good. Now for the final part, which is adding all our mountains. So I'm going to take this flat brush and mix some Payne's Gray with indigo. Okay, and start okay. The same thing I'm going to apply here as well. So this was a bigger one, right? Let me make some more. So I need more of Payne's Gray and indigo. Okay, so these two main ones are done. Now for the ones in the back, I'm going to take a lighter shade of indigo and apply it. So I'm going to dip it some water. Oops, it was not dry here and I pressed on it. Hopefully it will not look very weird. Okay, and the next one again with the lighter shade of indigo. So these are kept in lighter shade of indigo because they are near to the sunset or sunrise which is happening. So we want to keep it in a lighter tone to depict that the reflection of or the light rays from the sun is falling on it. Okay, so this should be good, and this one should be even lighter in tone, so mixing more of water onto it and starting apply. I should probably come back to this once this one is completely dry, but let me try my luck here. Okay, I'll just take a smaller brush and try to fill it. Okay, and for this one, since there won't be any coral left if I completely follow these lines that I have drawn, I will take some lavender, mix it with this indigo, and yeah, this kind of a gray shade is what I wanted. So take more water. Okay, so these are all our mountains, but I need to add some snow-capped mountains here. So let me take some white gouache. Now you take more, yeah, and I know it's still wet here, but I'm going to apply it. And yeah, okay, the same one I'm just going to apply it here for the tips. Wait, let me take a darker tone. Okay, so this is more than enough, and so I'm happy with how this has turned out. You can see that it's still wet here and here, but let me try to start the tape peel. Yay, this side is successful. Okay, so the next side is this one. This looks good. Now okay, so this is what we have painted, and this is A4 size wet on wet watercolor Northern Lights painting. This is of course not a traditional one wherein all these strokes are coming just to the one focal point. There are multiple layers of it, and it's not too bright also because there is a sunrise happening. So yes, this is it. I hope you liked this tutorial. Like, share and subscribe for more such videos. You can also follow me on Instagram. My handle is Tinted Doodles, and I teach all the real-time classes with all the techniques and much more tips on Skillshare. So do join me there.